This is Dubious Insights, and this is a self-driving car. So this car is set up to have 3 inputs. It's getting the inputs based on the length of the lines that it's radaring off of. It looks like 5, but I've narrowed it down to 3. And it has 30 cars per generation, and it's evolving its neural net through something called NEAT. So it's basically the way NEAT's working is it's picking the best cars in each generation and evolving them. So the first couple generations, nothing too good happened. This generation 5, we're seeing a car that's doing better, so presumably NEAT will use it to have later genomes. The outputs of this, I've simplified the outputs down so there's precisely 2 things this car can do. It's always going at 2 miles an hour, or 3 miles an hour, and the only thing it can do is turn left or turn right. You saw in generation 5 that it made it halfway around the board, and now in generation 6, it died pretty early. What's happened here is I have something called Elitism turned off. So what Elitism is it keeps the best cars from previous generations, and I don't know whether that's great, good, or bad, but I have it turned off so that the best cars can propagate, they can mate and make baby cars, but they don't get to stay all by themselves. So generation 7, once again made it halfway around the board. Generation 8 is doing better. Now here's what I'm using for inputs. Like I said, we have 2 outputs and 3 inputs. I have 5 lines. The lines measure the length next to the side of until it hits one of the barriers. But instead of keeping all 5 lines, I have the line directly in front of it gets put in the length as is. The other 4, they get put in as a difference between this left side and the right side. So for instance, the 90-degree lines are input just as a difference in length between the left and right, and the 45-degree lines input as a difference in length between left and right. The theory there being is that the car really just needs to know whether it should turn left or right based upon which side has more space it can turn to. So that worked pretty well because when I had a lot more inputs, it went hundreds of generations without conversion. I gave it many inputs and many outputs, and it went hundreds of generations, so I had to simplify this down to something that I can understand. But the downside of having, just probably the difference is that's why we saw these cars are basically constantly turning. Even when they get a nice straight stretch at the bottom, these cars are going left and right, left and right. It's not ideal. So there's probably ways to fix this. I haven't done it. But yeah, this NEAT algorithm, we've got a neural net that can drive these cars decently. I think that if I let them go for more generations, I'm stopping at 9 here, but if I let them go for more generations, they get better. Here we're just seeing that the best car is doing pretty good. The median cars are still doing pretty bad. Anyway, this is Dubious Insights. Thank you for watching.